I know what you're all thinking straight away. Gakpo? What? Andy Robertson is an absolute Liverpool legend. Here's the centre-backs, I'm going to highlight them. Here's Senesi and here's Hill. One ball forward, they've only got one player back. Right, hello everybody, welcome back to The Golden Sky. I'm Tom. Today it is the preview for Bournemouth against Liverpool tomorrow night at Bournemouth. But first, we're going to start today's video with a little bit of transfer news. Let's get into it. So, seeing as it's the big news of today, well, big, I guess you can decide for yourselves how big of news it is. It looks like, out of nowhere, Andy Robertson is going to be signing for Spurs. If you're confused by that, I am too. Very weird one, and I thought I'd come on to start the preview today and just give my thoughts on that. Sometimes we do this on the preview. Last week we did it about Gehi's move to Man City. This one, I am quite significantly more annoyed with Liverpool about this one. So news broke this morning, for those that haven't seen, that it looks like Robbo is going to be going to Spurs, who plan to sign him in the summer on a free, but they're bringing forward those plans to sign him now. Now, we don't know, I think, the full story to this yet. Maybe Liverpool have said, we're not going to give you a new contract, and that was enough for him to say, I'm going to leave now then and not in the summer. And that could be maybe due to wanting game time ahead of the World Cup, where he's going to go with Scotland and captain them. It could be something else. Liverpool could have said, we're going to cash in on you whilst we still have value in you. But the reason why I'm so annoyed about this transfer is a few reasons. First of all, the biggest reason of all, Andy Robertson is an absolute Liverpool legend. A modern day legend, but also a legend of the football club, full stop. He's won every trophy there is to win at Liverpool. He's been here through our best time in 30 years plus, the whole way, an absolute hallmark of that team that was so successful for us for so long. He deserves a proper send-off, a proper send-off. I'm talking like Firmino got, but maybe even better. I mean, Firmino was maybe a better player. Robbo, he's been here longer. He's beloved by the fans, and as a result, I think he deserves a proper send-off. Certainly not to just be randomly shipped off, not just to any team, but to Spurs. I don't have anything against Spurs, but them being a club playing in the same league as us that he has no affiliation with whatsoever, and it's not like he's going to go and challenge for a new thing, go into that new team. To me, it's just very, very weird, and I don't like how it reflects on the club at all. I don't think this is how legends should be treated, especially if we're doing this for monetary reasons, because what are we really going to get for Robbo? I mean, it's going to be, in my opinion, if I had to guess, if we got money for the transfer, it's going to be no more than 5 million. And that might as well, in today's market, be, a packet of McCoys. Like, other crisp brands are available, I may add in there. We're not going to get a lot. So for how it reflects on the club as a whole to cash in for such a little amount of money, I don't think is worth it. And then you add into the fact that our replacement for Robbo, who, by the way, is our vice captain, in case you didn't know. It's not just, obviously Robbo hasn't played much. We can talk about the football inside for a second, actually. Robbo hasn't played all that much this season, sure. But obviously he's still a key figure in the dressing room, still a leader, still part of that old Klopp team who can really instill the culture of Liverpool into these newer players. That's important, and you want to have that experience at your club. Robbo leaving is a big part of that heart and soul being taken away from us again. Don't know who will become the vice captain. That's a story for another day. But then you look at our replacement. Now, the stories have already come out. I've seen Ben Jacobs has already said that Liverpool are ready to recall Kostas Tsimikas from Roma to become the new backup left-back should Robbo leave. So it looks like this one, to me, is all going to be done and dusted very quickly. Robbo looks like he's going to leave. Tsimikas is going to come back and replace him. So I thought, well, I'll have a little look at Tsimikas and how his loan went at Roma. And I'm not very impressed. I mean, I didn't think I would be. He's played 15 times for Roma. He's started 4 games, 379 minutes, which is just over 3 90-minute. Just over 3 90-minute games, and a little bit extra. So he's barely played for Roma, and now he's going to come back and be our backup left back. again, when he wasn't good enough in the summer to be back up left back, we're now back with him. It is really, really baffling again from Liverpool. We desperately need defenders. We're in a bit of a defensive crisis. Joe Gomez, at this current moment in time, is our backup right back, centre back, and left back, and we have no one else. So we're going to call Simicast back. It's just very confusing to me. Instead of buying a defender, we're actually selling one, and we're calling one that we didn't think was good enough in the first place. It doesn't add up to me, and I'm not happy about it at all. And let me know what you think down in the comments about this transfer. I am intrigued to see what you guys think. Maybe I'm the only one who is this frustrated by it. But I thought I'd start the preview off just giving this a little bit of attention that it deserves. Because for all we know it, Robbo could be gone by the time we played this game against Bournemouth. And that would honestly be a massive, massive shame. However, let's get into the preview. Now we've talked about transfers, and we're going to start with my predicted lineup as always for Liverpool. So Alisson is in the net, right back Jeremy Frimpong, centre backs Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk, left back Milos Kerkez. In the middle, we've got Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Wirtz. I will talk about that in a second. And then up front, I have gone Ekitike and then I've gone Gakpo. Now, I know what you're all thinking straight away. Gakpo? What? It's going to be Gakpo or Salah, I think, is where we boil down to in this team. I'm confident on pretty much everyone else. You could make an argument maybe that Jones gets a game here, but I'm not convinced. I think McAllister deserves to start after playing pretty well in midweek. But if Jones played, I wouldn't be all that surprised. It's Gakpo I've gone with over Salah. It could definitely be Salah. It definitely could. We could even go Salah for one of the midfielders. That's potentially something we could do. It wouldn't be Wirtz, it wouldn't be Szoboszlai, it wouldn't be Gravenberch, I wouldn't think. It probably would be McAllister to drop out. If we did that, we would go to a 4-3-3. The typical 4-3-3 we've played, where Salah would be this man down here. Let's imagine that's just McAllister for now. Szoboszlai will probably drop in here, and then we play this that we've seen a lot. But I don't think that's what we're going to do. I think we will go with the diamond that we played in midweek against Marseille. Now, the way I've set it up is the way that it sort of lined up against Marseille, which was this. It was less of a diamond, more of a 4-2-2-2 is what I called it, where it's very hard to draw it on a ball because when we have the ball and when we don't have the ball, it's very different. When we had the ball, McAllister was the deepest. Wirtz would often drift over to the left. Gravenberch would be sort of more advanced, and then Szoboszlai was tending to be the one furthest forward, almost on this right-hand side, sometimes coming into the middle, or you'd end up with Wirtz and Szoboszlai sort of in this diamond sort of skewed shape. Now, when we didn't have the ball, Gravenberch would drop right back over here. McAllister would join him in the middle. The strikers would split like this, and then Szoboszlai would usually lead the press with somebody like Wirtz dropping back behind him, or the opposite, Wirtz leading the press with Szoboszlai and McAllister behind, and we'd press in this sort of 3-2-5 with Gravenberch floating around here. So that's how I think we'll line up in this one. Again, I mean, it worked again, so I don't see why we would change. I quite like this team, to be totally honest. And if Salah plays instead of Gakpo, let's just do that for a second, just for the purpose of the graphic. Ekitike, I think, will go on this left-hand side again, like we saw at Marseille. We'll use McAllister as the deepest one, Szoboszlai to the right, Gravenberch sort of just ahead of Maka and Wirtz over here. And it, it's a bit, how do you call this formation? It is sort of diamondy. It's sort of, it's a little bit of a free sort of position for the three more advanced midfielders. But certainly McAllister was usually the deepest one. Either way, Gakpo or Salah, I think, are going to line up as a striker in this game, or at least a wide forward, but not quite as wide as if they were playing in the 4-3-3, which allows Frimpong and Kerkez to get really high up the pitch, which has suited them a lot. So that is Liverpool's team. So then we're going to talk about some of the other players missing there. So Konate's out for personal reasons, of course. Hope everything's good with him. I've heard why he's out. Obviously, if you haven't heard, unfortunately, his father has passed away. So thoughts with him, and obviously no question at all that he should be playing in this game. He should definitely be out where he is. Chiesa is 50-50, apparently, according to Slot. Not that that makes any difference at all. We all know he's playing 5 minutes max. And I think Jones goes on the bench. So I think they're the only real question marks about this team. So let's have a little look at what Slot said in his presser. I thought there was a few interesting bits and pieces. One was about transfers. Whilst we were on that subject, he did say that he's not expecting any movement in terms of transfers. He then caveated that and said, you know, we're always looking for opportunities, blah, 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 the usual nonsense that we spew out. But he did say, I'm not expecting any movement at all. And that was about signings, not necessarily sales. So I don't think the Robbo news will have, you know, shocked him to his core. I'm not surprised at all. I've said it all month. I'd be shocked if we signed somebody. People have been crying out for someone. I also would like anyone who can play as a defender, but we're not seeming to get one. But that's the way it is. He did also talk as well a little bit about our defensive abilities, and he said, in all the games recently, except the Brighton one, we managed to give up less than 1 expected goals, which shows that we are, you know, doing better defensively. And again, he talks about the chances that we are giving up, saying we've got a great goalkeeper, and he trusts that that will mean that we stop conceding chances that aren't necessarily good chances when we are giving up barely any XG. Whether you agree with this or not is up to you. You know, my thoughts on it, I do not really like when he says this type of thing, because we are conceding goals, especially in the Premier League, and we're not winning games. We are yet to win a game in 2026 in the Premier League. We are actually almost a month since our last win in the Premier League. That was Wolves at home. Everyone remember that absolute barnstormer of a game? But we have, however, won 12 of our last 13 against Bournemouth, who have conceded more goals against us than they have against any other Premier League side. So it bodes well for us to score some goals. We are, however, unbelievably unbeaten in all competitions in almost 2 months. The PSV loss was our last loss. So it's weird, isn't it? It's really weird. We've had this big, long, extended unbeaten run, yet we'd all probably agree as fans that we're pretty rubbish. Very strange one. But regardless, let's talk about Bournemouth for a second, our opposition in this game. So Bournemouth's predicted lineup, you can see there. I've gone with Petrovic in the goal, Smith, Hill, Senesi and Truffert as the back four, Cook and Scott in front of them as a midfield two, with Jimenez, Krupi Jr., Adley and Evan Nielsen, the front four, lining up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Crucially, not a 5-4-1, and we will not see much 5-4-1 in this game, I don't think, at all. Well, in fact, I'm certain we won't see 5-4-1. So an opportunity for us again, maybe to score some goals, to see where we fare against a team who aren't going to sit back and defend us in the Premier League. This is what Slot keeps complaining about. You know, let's see if we can actually play a good game as well as we played against Marseille, and maybe build on that good result for once, put together some consecutive good performances. Now, I've gone with this Bournemouth team. There's a lot of players missing from this side. You might recognise some names. Justin Kluivert, injured. Brooks, Tavernier, Adams, Ben Doak, Soler, Unal, all injured for Bournemouth. Now, some of those are bigger names for Bournemouth than others. I'm thinking Kluivert, Brooks, Tavernier. Even Tyler Adams is quite a big player, but he's always injured for Bournemouth. They're players who would help, especially Tavernier. I think he's the biggest miss from that list. Now, especially now that a certain Antoine Semenyo has also left the Bournemouth team. They are depleted. They're a much different side to the side that we played on the opening day. And that's not just in terms of personnel. That's in, I would say, the feel of Bournemouth and how scary they feel as a side to play against. When we played them at the first game of the season, there was certainly a lot of, not fear, because I think we were all excited that the season was starting and we had all these new players and whatnot. But there was an element that Bournemouth could cause you problems. They have been a lot less scary so far this season. They're 15th in the league, but they got 1 win in the last 13 Premier League games. So not really having a great time of it this year. And I'll give you some stats to back that up. So where they really struggle is with conceding goals, which again bodes well for us, a team that are struggling to score goals in the Premier League. So they concede a lot, 1.9 goals per game, which is the 17th most in the league. So conceding almost 2 goals a game, and their expected goals backs that up as well. Expected goals conceded, they are 18th in the league. So there's going to be goals, or at least opportunities for us to score goals in this game. I'm thinking Ekitike, Salah, Gakpo, Vert, Szoboszlai, they're all going to have opportunities to get on the end of things. There's going to be a lot of space in this game. I'll show you some clips of Bournemouth in a second and an example of why there's going to be a lot of space. But it's going to be an open game, and I think that should suit us. A bit like Marseille, Bournemouth are going to try and come at us. It wouldn't surprise me if that works actually to our advantage once again. They do, however, score quite a lot of goals. They are 1.6 goals per game, which is as good as 5th in the Premier League. So just about managing to score over 1.5 goals a game there. I know you can't score 1.5 goals a game before you non-stat enjoyers come at me with that one. But it shows they have a goal threat, that's for sure. However, that might be slightly skewed with Semenyo gone, Cliver out, Tavernier out, that kind of thing. One thing that Bournemouth will not lose in their identity, no matter who's playing for them, is how high they press. This is their style, their attitude is we're going to outwork you, we're going to press you really high, we're going to be really brave, and that works for them. They have the second most pressing sequences in the league, so that shows you that they don't give you a minute on the ball. They want to be really brave, especially when they're at home. They're going to go man-to-man at certain times all over the pitch. Evan Nielsen does a really good job of leading that press. He works really, really hard. Lacks a bit in his finishing quality, but works really hard off the ball and can lead a press quite effectively as well. And that shows as well in the stats, where they're third in interceptions in the Premier League and also third for possession won in the final third. So winning the ball high up the pitch is what Bournemouth's whole game and identity is built upon. They want to run and run and run. And we are going to need to match them. We're going to need to do exactly that. We're going to need to be brave on the ball. I'm a bit concerned with how we played out against Burnley. If we can't play out well against Burnley, will we be able to play out well against Bournemouth, who are much, much better at pressing and much more aggressive and willing to do a high press than Burnley were at Anfield, and we still struggled. Bournemouth's danger men, for me, in this team, you're looking, Evan Nielsen, like I said, he's got a lot of qualities, but I wouldn't necessarily say goal scoring is the one you think of with Evan Nielsen, but he can score. He's not totally useless at putting the ball on the back of the net. He's just not exactly what you might call clinical, but he's a good player. I like Trufer at left back for Bournemouth. Obviously, we have their last left back, Milos Kerkez, who's been coming into form for us. But Trufer, also a good player, good delivery on him. You've got nippy wingers, especially this Jimenez. I think he's on loan at Bournemouth this year with an option to buy if he plays as many games as the loan deal meets. He's nippy, very nippy, puts in some good balls. Got a few tricks in his locker. And same with Krupi. He's scored 7 goals for Bournemouth in the Prem this year, their top scorer, now that Semenyo has left. A good young player, certainly someone to keep an eye out in this game. The defence is where you get at Bournemouth, so let's go and look at them on some clips to show you what they do well and where also Liverpool might be able to get at them and get some joy in this game. Alright, so here is some examples of Bournemouth. I'm just going to talk through what I picked out from their most, well, not the most recent game per se, but just some recent games they've played. This is against Spurs, obviously a good topic for this video, and Bournemouth. What I want you to focus on here with them is how many players they commit forward to an attack when they attack, and how brave they are. I think that's the only word you can use to say it. That, I mean, you might want to call it stupid, but it works for them. They commit bodies forward. They're not afraid to do this. You see, Jimenez is here on the ball deep. Spurs are set up, on the edge of their own box. But Bournemouth are willing to put bodies forward, get in the box, and that only continues here when the ball goes out wide to Tavernier. Just look how many players they have lined up. So we've got 1, we've got 2 there, Semenyo, that's a really bad number 2, but we'll move on. 3, 4, 5 players in the box. They've got Jimenez coming to show for the ball again, that's 6, and then Tavernier delivering the cross. You've got 7 in the attack there, trying to push for a goal. And look how many players of Spurs is forced to come back. They deliver this ball in, and they score a goal. We'll move on again. Same game right at the end now. This is going to be the last minute winner that Semenyo scored for Bournemouth, and something that they'll miss without him in the team and we don't have to face, which is fortunate for us. Last minute of the game here, 2-2, playing Spurs. They could easily settle for a point, but that's not in Bournemouth's nature. They're an attacking side. They want to go for the win. Credit to them. I quite like them as a side, to be totally honest. You got Brooks on the ball, and then you've got 3 players in the box, plus 2 outside. And what I really want you to look at here is as this ball comes out to Semenyo, here's the centre-backs. I'm going to highlight them. Here's Senesi and here's Hill, the centre-backs, pushing right up to the edge of the box to really push Spurs back. Richarlison, Spurs' most forward player in this move, really, really pushing for that goal, which they did get from Semenyo here, a great strike. But it's this aggressiveness in their play that is really eye-opening when you watch Bournemouth. Their football is very crisp, very good. It does leave them open, which we'll see a little bit later in the video. Now, this is from the cup game against Newcastle, where they lost on penalties, but they really gave a good account of themselves at St James's. So, again, similar thing we've seen. Players in the box. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players making runs into the box. You've got another one coming on the overlap, and then the man on the ball here. So, lots of players committed forward to the attack. The ball is going to get slid through into Evan Nielsen, who tries to have a little shot, but he actually pulls it a bit too far, and Alex Scott is there at the back post to tap it in the net. But look at the bodies they've got in the box again. 5 players there in the box, trying to score, trying to affect the game. They're going to do this against us. I'm sure of it. We've got to make sure that we match up with them. Stay organised, defend first, and then see if we can get ourselves into the game and attack and stamp our authority on it. Now, not just a side, Bournemouth, who can attack in the way that I've shown. They can also counter-attack extremely, extremely well. So here they are. Newcastle have had the attack. Now the ball breaks into Bournemouth's own box. You see Brooks, he's already on his bike, ready to go. They find him with the ball, and just like that, they're away. They scored 2 counter-attacking goals at Anfield in the first game of the season, and just like this one here, they're 3-on-3. Brooks races away, runs all the way to the edge of the box, where he finds the shot on his right foot, and he curls it in this far corner. It's a lovely finish. But they've got players up in the attack again. You can go to Evan Nielsen, you can go out wide to Krupi, you can come onto it. There's options. They really flow forward. They're an exciting team to watch. We've got to watch ourselves against it because we are certainly susceptible to a counter-attack, as we've seen this season. I'm thinking Brentford, I'm thinking Crystal Palace. Not great really at defending the transitions all the time, our Liverpool Football Club. Now, this is some of the high pressing that they just showed in this game. I thought I'd leave a few of these clips in. So this is Gordon on the ball. You see Smith has gone man-to-man with him. They've matched up really tight and aggressive. The midfield is high. You see everybody is tight to their men. The wingers ready to jump. Evan Nielsen's there. Scott's there. There's nowhere really for Anthony Gordon to go. He tries to play this tough pass across the field and he gets it all wrong. Tavernier steps onto it. And all of a sudden, Bournemouth are away, and they can really attack you very quickly when they do this. The ball gets, again, slid through to Evan Nielsen. We're now in extra time, I believe, of this game. And he tries to, round the goalkeeper and eventually score. Doesn't quite do it. That's the deficiency of him as your striker. Very, very similar situation. Alex Scott pressing on to Bruno. Tavernier onto Joe Linton. Evan Nielsen doing his job, not letting the ball go back to the goalkeeper or to the centre-back. He's ready to jump on that. So Joe Linton is forced to play this pass across to Botman, but similar to Gordon, he gets it all wrong. Jimenez this time steps in, really aggressive. This is extra time of a cup tie where they're away at Newcastle. Really aggressive, commit bodies forward. The ball comes into the box from Jimenez's cross. Alex Scott has a shot and almost scores again. Ramsdale makes the save in this instance. However, if that's what Bournemouth do well, this is where you can get at them. I've left these in. This is Brentford's game where Brentford really dismantled them. An excellent counter-attacking team. I think probably the best in the league, Brentford, at counter-attacks. And they showed it in this game. And you can see here, Bournemouth, why they're so open at the back. I mean, this line is very, very high. Here's the other centre-back. He's been drawn out man-to-man with Thiago. They are brave enough to go man-to-man all over the pitch, but as we know, if you manage to play through man v man, you can really pull players out of position, and it can leave you wide open as the defending team. Thiago just knocks this ball over the top into the space, and Sharda is very fast, as we've seen, to our own detriment, and get on the end of it and score a goal. Again, same game, similar situation. This time, Bournemouth lose the ball in their own box. It's like we've seen. They've got lots of players committed. You know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players there committed in the attack. One ball forward. They've only got one player back, one-on-one with Thiago. They just push all their bodies forward. Thiago gets onto it, and Brentford, scored again from that. Now, one more example in this same game. Bournemouth lose the ball in that final third. They've got loads of players committed forward. I think there's even more this time. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 at least. This might be even 8 over here. Just the pair of boots on the top of the screen. But Brentford are away again. They run all the way forward. They end up with a 5-on-2 or 5-on-3 with Bournemouth desperately trying to get back. They can't. The ball comes out wide, they cross it in, and Sharda tapped it in again for another goal. This is how you get at Bournemouth. They are going to give you chances, not only on the counter, but just generally they are an open side. However, they counterbalance that by being a very willing attacking team, scoring goals, playing attacking football, and pressing from the front themselves. It's going to be up to us to see if we can handle it in this game. A tough 5:30 kickoff away at Bournemouth. Let's see how it goes. As always, ladies and gents, we're going to finish off the preview here with Super 6. So let's get into it this week. I am still yet to win, of course. Man City against Wolves. Let's see. So, I mean, this is an easy win for City, surely you would think. But I think they'll concede. I'm going to go 3-1 for Man City in that one. They've just been a little bit open at the back recently. Although I do expect Gehi to play in that one. Make his debut for City. Burnley against Spurs. Spurs have been much better on the road, so I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I quite like that score there for Spurs. Liverpool Bournemouth. You've got to expect there's goals in this one. I think my brain wants to go 2-2. My heart wants to go 3-2 to Liverpool. So do I see us scoring 3 goals though? Why not? Let's go with it. 3-2. Maybe it's the one that wins it for me. Let's see what people think. Lots of people backing us, and Kara thinks 3-1. Yeah, I can just see Bournemouth getting a few goals, to be honest. Palace against Chelsea. Interesting game, this one. I'm gonna go 1-1. That one. Palace Chelsea. Newcastle Villa. Another tough one. Sunday 2 p.m. Who do I fancy? I'm really not sure, you know. This one is a tough one to call. Newcastle have been pretty good at home this season. Don't know if Bruno's fit. Villa having a bad result recently and a weird game, a weird presser from Emery afterwards. I fancy Newcastle maybe. Let's go with a 2-1 home win to Newcastle, and then United Arsenal. Wow. United, the talk of the town after last week's fixtures, and Arsenal. Arsenal, aren't they? This is an interesting game. It really is. The good round of fixtures this weekend, to be totally honest. I do you can't go against Arsenal at the Emirates. You just can't. Do I see United scoring a goal on the counter? I think I do. You know, let's give United a goal. I'm gonna go 3-1 to Arsenal. I think that's pretty safe. In that game. So let's go 3-1. And we'll go 5th minute for the golden goal. Right, Super 6 done for another week. Let's cross your fingers for me, guys. But that is going to do it for today's preview. I really do hope that you did enjoy it. And guys, I just want to say, before I ask you guys to like and subscribe, as always, thank you very much for helping me hit 400 subscribers. I really, really appreciate it. We've actually smashed it since the last video. So we've eclipsed 400. So the road to 500 is officially underway. I mean, that's a crazy number of people subscribed to listen to me talk about football, to be totally honest. So if you can help me get to 500, if you are new and you did enjoy today's video, please do subscribe. But thank you so much to everyone who has already subscribed. The support on my last few videos has been amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. The like targets, the subscribers, like I said, amazing. So thank you so much for everybody who's liked, commented, subscribed, watched, anything, any way you supported the channel. I really appreciate it. Let's continue to do it. If you did enjoy today's video, like it. We're trying to get to 30 likes still. We'll keep that as the target for now, even though you guys have smashed it in the last couple of videos. Keep it at 30. Let's see if we can smash it again. 500 subscribers is now the goal officially, the next milestone in front of us. So let's see if we can start the climb there. Podcast listeners, thank you very much for listening. 5-star rating and reviews. Follow the show, all that good stuff. Comment away what you think your score predictions will be, what you thought of the preview. I hope you did enjoy it. Hope you all enjoy your weekends. I'll be back, as I seemingly am every day, tomorrow for a ratings video for the Bournemouth Liverpool game. Of course, that will come out around about 9:30 on Saturday night. So until then, hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the football. Hope for a Liverpool win. And I'll speak to you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.